tell, so my English is also off. Thank you so much for being here. I feel very honored and privileged to be amongst everybody in this room. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Carol. I'm going to try and speed through these topics given the time constraints. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the most important parts that I think a lot of athletes in this room can take home and they can utilize and use as a tangible tool in order for them to secure sponsorship and also get guidance from how to manage themselves and how to work with agents. So I'm going to be talking about recognizing yourself as a brand, social media, and athlete management. Brand awareness, familiarization of an entity, it being a campaign, it being a specific individual. Who are you? And not just your name and your surname, but what is the core? What is the philosophy of your brand? How do you want to be identified as in social media? I hosted these spaces called Women in Sports Spaces, and we would invite different sportscasters, athletes, agents, journalists, just to talk about conversations centered around women in sports. We've had Babanga in the spaces, we've had Sinalo in the spaces, and what I realized from those spaces is, apart from the national athletes, people who join spaces asked me in the DMs, who are these people? And we're talking about national athletes. A lot of people didn't know who these athletes were, and I'm telling you, people that have won awards and represented South Africa on large scales, people didn't know who they were. So there was not a lot of brand awareness that athletes created for themselves. So the minute you start identifying yourself as not just somebody who's kicking a ball or is running across the court, but as a brand, that's how people start to know who you are. And then networking. We are all here to network. I was listening to all the speakers. Doc, you said some most valuable things, and I think this is a networking platform for me. I also listened to Garawa, and I really want to network. For all of you guys in here, especially athletes, there's people that are in control of the checks, in control of those contracts for endorsement deals and campaigns. Use this opportunity for you guys to, engage and talk, find out what people are doing, and see how it can benefit you in your career. Learning and development. We learn about so many things. I was listening to Garabo speak and I was like, hey, I'm an agent, but she's been in the business for 16 years. And they were part of the things that I also picked up. It's a learning opportunity for myself and also for you guys. It brings a lot of opportunities. There's certain things that Silka spoke about, and I think other speakers have spoken about, that bring opportunities that you guys probably didn't believe that you guys could grasp or get an opportunity to know about that information. As a brand, you need to build loyal supporters. It does build and elevate your brand visibility and gives you credibility. I manage about 22 athletes. 6 of them are currently in Australia, part of Banyana squad. And I've had to do I had to be a motivational speaker, I had to be a mother, a sister, a friend to all of them, given what has been happening on social media. And when I was reading the comments, I saw 80% of the people for specific athletes were actually encouraging them and supporting them and telling them to block out the noise. You can do this, we are behind you. That's the following that you guys also need to build for yourself, because when times get tough, those are the people that keep you going. So next part, I'm going to talk about social media. Very exciting topic and category for me. Last year, I walked away with the Momentum G Sports Awards for the social media category, and I'm super excited to talk about this. So straightforward, following, and engagement. This is super important. Unfortunately, if you don't have following and engagement, not a lot of people know about you, and not a lot of brands. Corporate doesn't see ROI from a person who doesn't have social media presence. I remember one of my athletes, after we had signed a contract, she's like, manager, please get me sponsorship with VW. Okay, sure. And then I look at their social media, I'm like, show me, please. What content is VW going to give you in order to present to the people, to the masses? Who's going to see this content? Your 2 followers. It's not going to work. Unless, actually not even unless, even if you were that good, unfortunately that's not enough. It needs to come with other components that make you, an asset that people can look at you and be like, you know what, we can actually get investment from this person. They've got a large audience, they create a lot of engagement, they're active on social media, we can target the specific target market through this individual. So you need to have social media engagement, live followers. A lot of companies have started doing this thing of buying accounts that already exist. There's influencers these days that create an account. All they do is follow, and get people to follow them. Next thing, they've got 10,000 followers. Next thing, they're selling that account. It's money-making business. We all want to make money. But the problem about that is, if you're an athlete and you go and buy that account, perhaps that person was posting about agriculture. So people followed them and got interest from the content that they were putting out. You are coming here, you're posting things about netball. It's not authentic to them, then you end up losing followers. So it's very important that you start from scratch. You have your own audience that actually supports the kind of content that you're putting out. And it's live followers that are actually in the business or interested in what you're posting. Bios, my goodness. Bios are like a walking CV for you. You can't just have your name and a tree as your profile picture. You need to see who you are. You need to know what you're about. There's a lot of articles about you guys that you guys probably don't even know about. Search them. Most of you guys are even on Google. You haven't searched yourself on Google because you don't think you're there, but you are. Take that link, attach it to your bio. People who are creatives, marketing managers, people who are actually signing the checks for us to be here are always on social media searching for other different faces to have at events like this. And if you have a bio that's very informative and talks about who you are, it's easy for them to extend another step to DM you and actually get your details and maybe want to invite you to events like this. Bios are very important. Replies and shares. Hey guys, you know sometimes when you're athletes and then you get that medal and you get the following and the attention, now that celebrity mentality comes in, now you're not responding to people. Don't do that. You can't respond to anybody, and that's when managers and agents sometimes do help you manage your accounts. There's something about athletes who they don't like social media, they don't like to respond. Get somebody to help you. People want to know that you see them, that you value their support. So engage and retweet, it goes a long way. Analytics activities, this is the most important thing that a lot of corporates and a lot of companies want to see. The frequency of how much you post. You need to stay relevant to the content you're putting out there. Market yourself very well. Agents and managers need to help their athletes become marketable individuals. We made examples a lot about Michael B. Jordan. We made examples about Beyonce. We need to start making examples about Abu Bakr, Simone, and all the other female representing athletes. We want to see them in presentations. So help your athlete become a marketable athlete. I think one person I can say is a good example of a marketable athlete is Sia Kolisi. I'm driving on the M1, I will see Sia everywhere. We need to see women also on all those billboards as well. And then trends. I'm sitting at home, every time when I'm watching a match, I need to make notes because on Saturday's show, I need to be speaking about this match. I'm on social media because I'm bantering, and then I also take screenshots of my athletes that are trending on that specific day. Agents need to be sitting on social media capturing those information, because if I go to Momentum, if I go to Coca-Cola and I give them a proposal that shows that you're trending at #1, that's something for them to look at. Make it another thing. Agents, athletes don't work for you. You as an agent work for them. So it's your job to always be on social media 24 hours, finding those tools and those things that could really elevate your athletes. Safety and brand identity, passwords and sharing. For those that have social media managers, it's very, very important. You guys get hacked easily. I remember there was an athlete who got hacked, large following, national player. Then the person that hacked their social media started asking for money and was selling Bitcoin. So obviously, some of us picked it up already immediately. And there was just something happening with sharing of passwords. It's very important. Don't share your passwords. Change it frequently if you can, because once you get hacked, that's all your followers gone. That's all your work for many years gone. Cancel culture, do's and don'ts. Guys, social media can be very cruel, especially that one with the bread now that's an X. It's very cruel, and it's easy for you to, I will admit, I used to be a hooligan on social media. I was a fan, I used to say anything I wanted to say, but when you're a brand, you can't do that. I had to change. And I regret, there's one mistake I regret. Many years ago, a service provider, a cell phone service provider, got me so frustrated. And I remember I went onto social media and I started typing. I'm angry, like network, everything. And I said so many harsh things. And then 4 years later, there's a campaign that pops up. They're like, oh, Aunty Diski actually has got the following. She's got this and this. She could probably be a great person. You know what they do? They put Aunty Diski, they search their name, and everything popped up. Everything bad that I've said about them, they're like, okay, oops, I lost the bag. Social media does not forget. Don't do that. Don't banter with the people. People who are usually negative on social media have nothing to lose. You do. So don't give in, just block out the noise, or give your phone, give your account to your manager and be like, deal with this, because we know what to filter out. So just make sure that you don't find yourself in that. Oh, guys, I'm speaking very fast. Okay. Athlete management. This speaks to athletes and agents and managers in this room. Marketing and athletes. So when you are an athlete and you want endorsement, or sponsorship, a lot of corporates, a lot of companies will look at the frequency of your performance. You cannot decide one season or half the season you are going to be great and the next you are not. You need to be consistent with that. I'm going to invite a specific clothing brand on some of your games to come and see you perform so that they could be like, actually, we saw you in action, we're going to give you sponsorship. Then when you came 3 games, you are not giving, you know? Dom spoke about mental well-being. It's very important as well as managers, you know, to make sure that our athletes are mentally prepared. If you're not mentally prepared, you're going to not perform on the ground. And if you're not performing on the ground, it makes my job a little bit difficult to try and convince somebody to give you sponsorship. So make sure that you are keeping that frequency and that consistency as an athlete. Values and integrity, they need to align. It's not that the company has values, you as an athlete also have values. So make sure that those align. Demographics, people like to hear those stories about where you grew up, it was the struggle, you were kicking ball with the boys, you've never had opportunities. Tell a story that will touch people that share the same sentiments and values and say, you know what, this is somebody we want to pick in our company and we want to grow with. Motivate them. Like I said, I was busy motivating throughout this whole campaign. It's going to be fine, it's going to be okay. You need to encourage them. Athletes go through the most. We come from a home that probably doesn't want you to play sports. We don't have professional leagues, so perhaps your parents want you to do a 9 to 5. And there's a lot of athletes that fall under the LGBT community. Already is another discrimination from another portion of your life. There's no money, again, you must stress because now you're not getting paid enough. As a manager, make sure that you are looking after your athletes and you're motivating them and letting them know that in the future, we are doing this so that in the future, we don't have to be struggling about this. Negotiations and sponsorships. Karabo spoke a lot about this. Binding contracts, stay away from them. Scrutinize contracts. Ask somebody who knows how to read a contract. I spoke to an athlete, I was like, okay, this is what esports does, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, I'm ready to start. I'm like, absolutely not. You cannot do that. You need to read through, ask references. I speak about my website. I'm like, go ask those athletes. Maybe they'll tell you it's me, I'm a liar, you know, and they don't sign or they'll say this. Rather protect yourself. Again, the contracts about the standard rate doesn't exist. I've got contracts where I'm like, I'll give you 6 months because I want to give you the leverage to say, it's not make sure this agency, I want to go elsewhere. And you don't have to be tied down. So do speak about that and say, I want to try it out. And also there's another agency that, you know, wants to help me. Can they help me? Refilo Jean is one of our athletes we represent. She's got a talent agency, which is LTA. We represent her on a commercial base. Somebody can come and represent her on another base. So you can have different agencies representing you. That's what Karabo was talking about. Also, with corporates, understand the important metrics of advertising. There's influencers. Why can athletes not be influencers? I mean, they're also big. But find out what these metrics are that they want. Because a client will come and say, we're going to give you this, and this is how much we want. I'm like, hey, there's a sponsor that came and said, okay, we're going to give you product that's 15,000 rand, and we want 8 posts a month. I'm like, that's a month. Because 15,000, 8 posts, already that 15,000 is just for 8 posts in the week. What is my athlete supposed to be on the 3rd and the 4th and the entire season? So understand if these deliverables make sense. if you want engagement as a corporate sponsor, this is probably the right channel to do. Maybe if you want engagement, you can do a live so you can get the active numbers. So speak about that. Don't just take. Read the contracts, also negotiate. Long-term investment, I'm going to go through this quickly and actually this is my last segment. Foundations and education. Education is very important. When we represent our athletes, I always say that we look over and beyond what you're doing now on the football court, on the field, or wherever it is. Because what happens if ever you get an injury and now you cannot play? So we need to invest in these athletes, get them education, partner up with educational institutes that will maybe give them a course, a sports management course, help them network with the right people, that if they wanted to do a school tournament or whatever it is, they can be like, hey, do you remember me from that event? Can I please have budget ekana so I can buy soccer boots, whatever the case is. This is why you guys are all here, to take down the numbers and the names so that in the future, when you want to do this, you leave a legacy behind. Maybe you want to go and work in a sporting portfolio at a different bank, or in the case I'm scared to mention names. Or maybe you want to be a coach. Whatever it is, make sure that you're investing in the future. And it's every agent's and every manager's job also to make sure that even if that athlete is no longer signed with you, they've got something to take away and make sure that their future is secured for many more years. So that the little ones that are also coming, they don't go through the frustration. So take this opportunity today, network. I think a lot of you guys that are actually sitting here right now probably didn't have this when you were in primary, where people came and spoke to you about this. You can be a professional player, you can go overseas and stuff like that. So use this opportunity as well to network, create the right conversations and build the right relationships. I'm going to read this last part and then I'm done. Many companies have halted formal sponsorship programs, citing pushbacks from executives who feel they are being asked to advocate for people they don't know well. Remember, who are these people? Or don't think are ready. This isn't a reason to give up on sponsorship. It's an opportunity to reinvent how we approach it. Sponsorship is really something we simply turn on and off. Rather, it's a relationship, one that has evolved from lesser to greater trust and public commitment. And I hope in the next conversations that we have, we've got many women that are securing endorsement deals, got our CEOs, many other agents, because I don't know why people are shying from the ladies department, but please come on board. And I really hope that you guys use this opportunity to mingle and network. Thank you so much.
I was going to say, we broke the chase for them because we're going to give them 10 minutes now to engage you. If you've got any questions via the so-called Jessica, here's an opportunity to ask those. So just go ahead. Any questions? Yep, there we go.